Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the reasons I actually got into the CHID department. At the time, I was just looking at chemistry as a major,
Mm.
but reading things like Silent Spring kind of convinced me that I needed some broader context if I wanted to be going into an industry like that. I couldn't just kind of head down and go into the sciences. In the STEM courses, we're focusing a lot on creating some base competencies so that we can go out into the world and really apply engineering tools and solve problems. You know, there's so much to cover and in such depth that it creates sort of a tension in the curriculum of trying to create engineers who are socially responsible. And I think in a lot of engineering programs, I don't think that it's necessarily true at engineering programs at UW, but in a lot of them that gets left behind a little bit. And I think that for me, I really wanted to complement the things that I was learning in engineering with critical background, particularly focusing on things like political economy and environmentalist movements. And CHID was the perfect place to do that because it encourages you to explore different frameworks for dealing with topics and then sort of lets you loose on what you want to be researching, what you want to be engaging with.
My thesis project is a creative project on mothering during the climate crisis, during this time of extinction. This year especially done a lot of work about like what I mean by mothering and like the weight of gendering a term and the weight of not. And I've defined mothering as not as a non-gendered term, making it a person who is the primary caregiver of a child or children. And through that, I've read a lot about like non-heteronormative family structures and different versions of things that even previous to college, but also like the majority of the world, I feel like does not think about. Yeah, it's been really eye-opening to just conceptualize gender as both a powerful tool, but also like I don't know if form of violence is the right word, but just like seeing all the complexities of that. So especially within like my thesis, I've thought a lot about just all that jazz. I'm really intrigued by the concepts of ecofeminism. I think CHID made me realize that yeah, you can find a philosophy that like seems really awesome, but there's so many problems with everything and you have to just look into things deeply. And with ecofeminism specifically, it's like early ecofeminism was doing a lot of harm as well as good with like essentializing women. Yeah, and I think shit has made me see how you got to really you have to do the work.
It's really been a place for me to draw connections between people and places, learning more about how humans interact with the environment, not just in a way that's exploitative, but in a way that's fulfilling. It's also been a place where, funnily enough, I wasn't going to go through the university to get an environmental, like a BS in environmental science. And I took a class with Mary Childs called Permaculture and Poetry. And that class reinvigorated my love for science, just learning about plants and learning about how people cared for plants and found fulfillment from that. And that re-inspired me to pursue science. So in many ways, should kind of shaped my path through the university and what I chose to pursue.